Yo, what is going on, guys? Hacho322 here, and today, guys, fans and coaches of the ASL, we are back with week 2 of the ASL, and today, guys, I'm bringing you the weekly recap, and we had a lot of great matches, and week 2 is right after week 1, obviously, and week 1 is where you have to test out your team, and week 2 is you learn from week 1 and you put to the test. So teams are going to be a little bit more familiar with their coaches are going to be more familiar with their teams now. But as you can see on your screen, I do have the weekly heroes placed on screen, which is Keldeo, Hippowdon, and Swellow. We'll get to how they did in a minute. So fans and coaches of the ASL, please leave a like down below, comment what you think of the video once it is over, and subscribe as always. So let's go ahead and hop right into it. First up, we have the Arcane Arcanines, coached by Altari Motives, taking on the Denver Nummels, and which is coached by Demaster. The Nummels are going to win a 1-0 victory to improve to 2-0 as Mega Sharpedo takes lives again. Mega Sharpedo has proved to be very well used in this league since the first turn Mega rule is no longer a thing. So let's hop right into the match. It is going to be a Nidoqueen and Uxie lead, and Latios is going to come in, have to take a U-turn, and out comes Staraptor and put on a lot of pressure. U-turn comes out and basically walls Staraptor bar close combat. Goes into Gengar, goes for that nice HP ground, does not kill, which is very unfortunate. U-turn is going to go for the Fire Blast and kill the Gengar. So that's very unfortunate for Motives. Jolteon's going to come in, predict the Nidoqueen, and go for the what I would assume to be HP ground or ice. It's one of the two. So I was going to go for the Earthquake. Uxie comes in. Uxie gets free rocks, goes into Kamala. Kamala can Rapid Spin, as Uxie is going to go ahead and go for the U-turn, as Kamala does indeed Rapid Spin. Mega Scizor is going to get to come in, do a knockoff, do a huge chunk of damage. Kamala can throw a Wish in the air and can really take anything, but wants to go into Nidoqueen and heal it back up since it's going to be very useful in the match. Now Uxie walls this thing. Nidoqueen's actually going to stay in and have to take a Psychic. Demaster probably wanting to gauge how much the damage would do. Is going to go into Mega Sharpedo. Mega Sharpedo is a threat. Mega Scizor gets to come in. Mega Sharpedo goes for the Protect. Has to switch out here because Mega Sharpedo is looking like a win con. Scizor is going to go for the U-turn on Pichu. Coming to Jolteon. Nidoqueen comes out, can go for the Poison Jab, and it would have been a 2 KO bar the leftover recovery. So Uxie gets a free U-turn as Latios comes out. Staraptor is just putting on pressure. Demaster really does not have a switch in for this thing at this point. This is going to go on the Sharpedo. He's going to go for the Protect just to make sure it has enough health. But it cannot kill Scizor in one hit. So he's going to go for the Substitute just to see what the Scizor wants to do, if he wants to try to make a prediction. Gets up 2+2. Poison Jab will not kill the Tapu Fini. Just gotta wait out. Go into Bulu, and Motives is gonna predict that perfectly. Go into Scizor. He's gonna Bullet Punch and HP Fire on the Bulu. So great tech by Demaster. And it's not gonna be a 2 KO, but neither is Bullet Punch. Is gonna HP Fire into Uxie, do literally nothing. So Bulu gets to fire off a Wood Hammer here, and it does a very good amount and knocks out the Uxie. So down goes Uxie, down goes Gengar, down goes Lottie, down goes Heatran. Tied at 4-4. Altari is going to double into Staraptor, just trying to get that sleep off. Not a bad play by any means. Goes for the U-turn, gets into Scizor, and now Scizor is looking very threatening against this type of Bulu. Bulu takes one Bullet Punch, wakes up, goes for the HP Fire, and does not kill, but Bulu has done his job, and now Scizor can easily be revenged by Mega Sharpedo. Gets to go for the Crunch, and now would presumably outspeed everything. Wants to switch out, and is just because Tapu Fini can take a hit. Demaster needs some prior damage on Tapu Fini, and Kamala is going to go for the Wood Hammer, and that is not enough prior damage, I do believe. So Nidoqueen's gonna come in for the Poison Jab, and at this point that is game. Sharpedo is going to come in here, gets to click Crunch, and gets to +1 speed. And Demaster is actually going to make a great play here. Go for the Protect, because this is probably Scarf Jolteon, and that's going to be the game. So great play on Demaster's part. Mega Sharpedo, really threatening Pokemon, especially if you let it get up. Speed boost. So yeah, that is going to be the match. The Denver Nummels are going to win a 1-0 victory. And let's go ahead and hop on to the next match. But where are my things? Okay, go over that. And go over that. I don't know why it's taking me. Okay, let me. You guys won't actually see anything moving on your screen, but it'll make the setup go faster for me. Okay, anyways, back to what I was on. So, with the second match, we have the Florida Floatals taking on the Nightmare Nidoking. And Rocker is actually going to win this match in a 2-0 victory, as there was a crit, I believe, that played a pretty big role in the match, but we'll see how it goes. So it's going to be a Starmie Araquanid lead. Very, very much favors the Araquanid. Araquanid is just going to go for the Leech Slide, do 85%, and Starmie is already weakened to the point where it dies to literally everything on turn 2. Rocker is going to get the crit on the Sylveon. I believe that is the crit that literally changed the entire dynamic of the game, because Sylveon somewhat checked a lot of Rocker's mons, and I mean, the Charizard is going to be sitting in here. +2/+2 gets the Flare Blitz, but Rocker's not getting any luck with the Sleep Talk. Probably burned all his luck on the crit, but Gramble can come in and just literally gets incinerated. Infernape's going to come out and go for the Mach Punch. Does not kill, but it does live a Dragon Claw. Because it is Sash Ape, that's probably the right play, just to go for the 2 Mach Punches, because I don't think Sash Ape runs close combat. He's mixed Ape. Mew goes for the Psyshock. Yeah. So Hitmonlee is going to go for the Fake Out with the normal gem. Is going to knock off, and Mew is going to go for the Roost. So Hitmonlee just burned its normal gem, but Thundurus Therian is going to come in and go for the Gigavolt Havoc, and out comes the Starmie, and Thundurus takes the Psyshock, can go for the Volt Switch. Rocker's team is Mamoswine bait at this point, but Hitmonlee is going to go for the Fake Out, the knockoff, just to be able to kill this thing a lot easier. It's going to go for the Rapid Spin, does not want those hazards up. As Gligar is going to go for the Roost to try and get back some more health. Is going to go into Nihilego and go for the HP Ice. That crit, not sure if it mattered due to the Eviolite. And Mamoswine gets to come in and is not scarfed, which means the Florida Floatals are going to pick up the W in this match. If the crit did matter, then that mattered for the whole aspect of the game. The Sylveon crit mattered a lot. Just some unfortunate hacks against an Aria, but nonetheless, it is the game we play. Moving on to the third match, we have the Phoenix Flygons taking on the Keldeo Resolutes. So, the Phoenix Flygons are going to scoop up a 1-0 victory, as Swellow is one of the weekly heroes, picking up 3 kills in the match, putting on a lot of pressure. As you can see, Keister does not have a whole lot of switch-ins for that thing. So let's see how this match is going to turn out. We have the Florges and Smeargle lead. Keister is going to have some great preparation, goes for the Magic Coat to balance the Sticky Webs back, and then clicks it again. And the Florges is going to go for the Moonblast just to hit this Smeargle as hard as possible. He's going to go for the Endeavor, which is very, very detrimental on Mesprit. So very, very good set by Ghost. Mesprit is going to go for the excuse me, these Stealth Rocks. Get up some hazards. Zapdos goes for the Volt Switch into Smeargle, as Smeargle is going to outspeed and be able to go for the Endeavor, which is very, very detrimental onto The Florges. Zapdos can come in and I believe kill with a Volt Switch. But that extra leftovers recovery is going to be making a difference. As out comes Mesprit, mainly because of just a sack, but Mesprit is going to actually live. Swallow gets to come out and scoop up its first kill of the match with Facade, revealing that it is a physically based set. So out comes Druddigon, knowing it is a physical set. Druddigon beats Swallow, as is going to go for the Dragon Tail, get paralyzed, which is very unfortunate. Brings in Darmanitan though, which is probably best case scenario for Keister, since Darmanitan can't do a whole ton of Druddigon. Like with Flare Blitz, Darmanitan just kills itself in 2 Flare Blitzes, so that's probably Druddigon's job. Is probably there for Jirachi too, but Keister also has Manaphy, so Jirachi can't really just flinch him to death. Alolan Persian is gonna go for the fake out. Zapdos is gonna come in, lives a Rock Switch, and it was a sack, but Thundurus is gonna go for the substitute. It's gonna Thunderbolt. So there is a substituted Thundurus on the field, which is very bad news for Ghost. Jirachi is gonna come in, and Thundurus is gonna go for the Gigavolt Havoc, and does not kill Jirachi. Jirachi gets to go ahead and go for the Psychic, but Thundurus is in a prime position to just sweep up this game. Out comes Swellow, which does outspeed and can go for the Facade, and does end up killing. So Swellow picks up its second kill of the match. Florges is going to come out, and it has to go for the Protect to get leftovers recovery and have it die to burn, which Keister's trying to have Swallow die to its own burn at this point. It's not as feasible of a goal, but it's really his only play. It also gets him a switch into Weavile, which is going to go for the Ice Shard and kill Swallow from its 3-kill Wrath. Alolan Poison comes in. I don't know why I have it as Florges. Oh yeah, never mind. Forget I said anything. So it's going to go for the Ice School Crash, get the critical hit, but it doesn't really matter, since a Florges Moonblast would have killed anyways. So he's gonna go for the taunt, and Florges kills with the Moonblast. This is gonna be the game. The Phoenix Flygons are gonna pick up a 1-0 victory over the Keldeo Hub Resolutes. Moving on to the next match, we have the BC Bibberolls taking on the Contract Killers. And Keldeo did pick up 3 kills in this match, not dying at all, as the BC Bibberolls were able to secure a 3-0 match over Anderson. Him on top also scooped up 2 kills, and let's hop right into the match. So it is a Zebstrika Electros lead. Zebstrika is going to go ahead and go for the Volt Switch, get a crit on the first turn, doesn't really matter too much. Goes into Bronzong, has to take a knockoff, definitely not ideal, because then it loses its leftovers, and has to take a Flamethrower too. But does get Rocks up, which are very annoying for Anderson's team, since he doesn't have the best way to get rid of them. And he's pretty weak to him. So Zebstrika comes in. Zebstrika puts on a ton of pressure. Big Boy 317 is going to come in, take a Volt Switch, and has to deal with this Hitmontop on the field now. Fidget Spinner as the Hitmontop nickname. I like it. It's going to go for the close combat. Do 30%, so Azelf taking it on pretty nicely. It's going to have the Side Shock, do a tremendous amount of damage to the Mega Arrow. He's going to click Pursuit on the Azelf, so great play on TG's part. He's going to knock the Azelf out of the match, which very, very much threatens his Keldeo. So Hitmontop is a free switch in on Omastar basically every single time. And Anderson's going to have to make some predictions on this Hitmontop, since it puts in a lot of work. And it is going to predict wrong, and it has to take a Stone Edge. It's going to go with a Psychic, very, very risk-free play, and just knocks out Mega Arrow. Zebstrika gets to come in, go ahead and go for the Volt Switch, and does not kill. This is very bad for TG. Has to go and hit on top to take whatever hit this Chandelure wants to dish out. Goes for the Flamethrower, does not burn, and is going to go for it again. Gets the crit, but not a burn, and him on top is going to land the Stone Edge and kill Chandelure. So out comes the Electros. Is going to have to take a close combat. Does a solid amount of damage, and Flamethrower does not even kill. Just shows how bulky Hitmontop is. Omastar comes in, takes the close combat, and then is going to go ahead and die to another one. So now this gives Anderson a switch into Big Bad Brad, where this this Mach Punch is gonna literally do nothing. It's gonna go for the Ice Shard. So Keldeo is gonna go for the Sacred Sword. Is gonna kill the Mega Abomasnow. Anderson has to bring in Electros and hope that it lives. TG is gonna go for the Sacred Sword. It's gonna live, and Electros must not have had an electric move, I guess. But it's going to go down to a Scald. And Snorlax is not going to be taking this Sacred Sword very nicely. He's going to come in, be at 63%, and is going to go down to a Secret Sword. And Keldeo is going to pick up 3 kills in the match, as it is one of the weekly heroes. Moving on to the fourth match, we have the Portland Timbers going up against the New Zealandians, as Hippowdon picked up 3 kills later on in the match. And this is a very close match, as most of the matches have been close. The first game, the third game, this game, they've all been 1-0s. So very, very tight competition this week. So let's go ahead and start this match off. It is a Mega Gallade Rotom Frost lead. Very, very bad for me. My designated switch in is Latios. Takes the Drain Punch pretty nicely. I have the Colbur Berry on there to eat up the knockoff. Does so much damage because he crits me. That's actually really, really big. I go for the Surf, predicting the extra drill, and then he gets to knock me out next turn with the Ice Punch. So that was really unfortunate crit. Suicune is going to come in on my V-Create and swallows it. I didn't want to make a play. I'm Scarftini. Suicune's very annoying. I get to go into my Roserade. She goes into her Gallade. I go into my Hippowdon. This Hippowdon is meant to take on the Excadrill. Any form of Excadrill, I can take a +2 Earthquake, no problem, and kill it. I go for the Bull Strike on the Golbat, as Golbat's going to go for the U-turn. Go into Suicune, as it can take 2 Bull Strikes. So good bring on Lari's part to bring Suicune, although she kind of had to since I have Victini. Rotom Frost is going to come in. Can take that hit pretty well. She's actually going to go to Tyranitar here, as I Volt Switch and go into my Roserade, which Roserade can do decent amount of damage and can actually Toxic Spike up, because she doesn't really appreciate Toxic Spikes, especially with Suicune and Tyranitar when it comes back in. So I really wanted to get those up in this match, and maybe my Spikes later down the road. So I'm going to Willows this Tyranitar. She's going to go for the Rock Slide. To see it does 40%. So I'm like, okay, I could probably Pain Split this thing down to a considerable amount, but I just want to go for the Willows, see what she wants to do since I have speed. That's 37%. I'm like, okay, I'll Pain Split up on this turn, get some health back, and we'll be sitting pretty. She's going to go for the Rock Slide, do 36%. I'm sitting at 41%, and I just go for the Willows just in case she wants to switch, but she's going to get a higher roll. I think that was a pretty high roll, and she's going to go ahead and kill me with the Rock Slide. I go into my Roserade, go ahead and go for the Giga Drain, as she makes a good play into Golbat. Golbat walls Roserade for the most part. I want to go ahead and go into my Victini, since this thing kind of baits in Victini. And I want to double into my Roserade, predicting the Suicune, which she does make that play. She gets to go right back into her Golbat, so the play didn't give me that much momentum. In all honesty, I really should have threw up a Spike here, because then I would have at least gotten something out of the double, because then I would have had 2 layers of Spikes, but I get 1 layer up. And she's going to kill me with a Brave Bird. I go into my Mega Pinsir. Knowing that I live a Brave Bird, I probably should have, what's it called, Swords Dance. Click Swords Dance, but I just go for 2 returns. As Tyranitar gets to come in, I go for the Quick Attack, get a crit. It does a considerable amount of damage, and she goes for the knockoff in case I want to go to Victini or something like that. I go into my Victini and can freely click Bolt Strike here. As Suicune comes in, can take it. I go for Bolt Strike, do 43%, and poisoned. And she goes into Tyranitar, where this was very big because now my Victini is taking more damage. And I go for Bolt Strike, not even realizing that I'm not going to live another Rocks switch in due to due to the sandstorm. So I have to put this all on my Hippowdon's back. I didn't realize this at the time. So I go to my Hippowdon. I have to slack off here. I knew the Suicune was coming in, but I had to slack off just in case to get my health back up. I know I can easily live a hit from this thing, no problemo. She's going to make a great play and goes for Toxic. I'll go for Ice Fang just in case Tornadus wants to come out. She's going to go to Gallade, and here's where I think she found out where I'm physically defensive. Actually, she would have found it out on the extra draw. I don't think that could mattered. I think I have offensive investment in this thing. She's going over the taunt. Great play. I don't know why I went for Stealth Rocks. That was 100% not the play. I should have Ice Fang to start off, but it really didn't matter because she's going to miss 2 Hurricanes. I mean, I guess rip her differential, but I go for the Ice Fang. My Hippowdon goes down and my Victini dies to rocks. So that's going to be the game. The New Zealandians are going to win a 1-0 victory over the Portland Timbers, as both teams are going to be sitting at 1-1. Moving on to the 6th game, we have the the Royal Gardevoir taking on the Intermilotic. And the Intermilotic do take a 3-0 victory and put on a lot of pressure with Mega Alakazam and Conch Elder later in the match, I do believe. So let's go ahead and hop into it. It's going to be a Rotom Heat not Mega Manectric. Normal Manectric lead very much favors Rotom Heat, as Manectric is going to have to take a huge hit early on from Overheat, as it is Scarf Rotom. So Spiritomb is going to go ahead and go for the Dark Pulse on Clefable. Cobalion is going to pressure Clefable. Clefable is going to wish into Conch Elder, which Conch Elder is a great switch in for it's called Cobalion. So Conch Elder is going to make a great prediction, or Static's going to make a great prediction, and go for the knockoff into the Decidueye. Rotom Heat is going to come in and take a Hyper Voice, no problem. Gustavo didn't Mega for some reason. I guess to just hit everything neutrally, since it still puts in work. Spiritomb is going to go for the Psychic on the Clefable. Clefable gets to throw a Wish in the air, and basically rinse repeat every time on this Cobalion. Predicting the close combat goes to Golbat or Crobat. I guess to just Brave Bird, whatever wants to come in. That is showing to be specially defensive. Spiritomb is going to drop to 2 Brave Birds. So out comes the Milotic, which Crobat can't do much to. Does not go for the U-turn, but in turn goes into Conch Elder on the hard switch. Conch Elder goes for Poison Jab, probably asking the Milotic to burn it because of Guts. I don't think it ever gets burned, but it at least wanted to get burned, so that's something. So Milotic is going to keep recovering, and Scald is going to crit the Conch Elder, but it doesn't really care because it can take hits. As Milotic is going to be recovering, so it's actually just feeding Conch Elder at this point. So not really a winning battle for Gustavo, but not really a winning battle by Static until he whipped out the Thunder Punch. So has to go and sack off the Manectric, but actually gets the Lightning Rod ability boost, goes for the Thunder Punch, and Conch Elder doesn't care, it still kills and lives. So Cobalion comes out, will kill with a close combat, as Gustavo actually just goes for the Iron Head. 2 Iron Heads will knock out the Crobat. Rotom Heat gets to come in and go for that nice Volt Switch, which almost kills the Milotic, but literally gets revenged by anything. Goes into Alakazam, which actually has a pretty hilarious nickname. It's going to go for the Psyshock. Out comes Cobalion. Not wanting to risk the Scarf, goes into Rotom Heat, as it is Scarf Cobalion at this point. Rotom Heat gets to go for that Scarf. Overheat. Clefable comes in on the Mega Gardevoir. Crit is going to kill the Clefable. Out comes Mega Alakazam, knows it can live, goes for the Shadow Ball and kills anyways. Cobalion comes out, and Static knows he lives an X-Scissor and can kill Psych. Gets to go into Conch Elder, since Conch Elder is not going to take 2 because of a crit. So rest in peace differential. But it gives a free switch into Rotom Heat, which eats like a champ. And another crit, doesn't really matter. but goes for the overheat. And that's going to be the game. The Inter Melodic are going to take a 3-0 victory over the Royal Gardevoir. Moving on to the last match, we have the Utah Hoots taking on the St. Louis Swablues. For the second week in a row, the Utah Hoots are going to take a 4-0 victory, which means they now have the best record in the ASL. Well, best record and differential. They're 2-0 with a +8 differential. So let's see how this match unfolds. We got Skarmory against Cresselia. Very much favors Skarmory. And Skarmory gets to go for the Stealth Rocks. As Empoleon comes out, Rotom is going to have to come in since it's... Empoleon actually really pressures the Hoots other than Rotom. Rotom is going to go for the Volt Switch on Gourgeist. Gourgeist goes for the Leech Seed. Good play on Malone's part. It was a very, very risk-free play, but it was the best play. It's going to double into Hydreigon. Not sure what he's predicting there. Maybe going into Skarmory, quite possibly. Here is Susie's favorite Pokemon, I think, Cofagrigus. At least in Draft League format. He loves that thing. So, Empoleon gets to sit here until Rotom comes out and wants to pressure it. And then out comes Rhyperior. Malone's going to make a pretty risky play, but it does work out. Goes for the Volt Switch, and then the Hoots actually Volt Switch again. So, because Malone wasn't going to stay in. So, not a bad back-to-back prediction on both parts. I don't really know. So Mega Deontay's going to Moonblast. Cress eats it up. And every time Skarmory gets to come out, that just baits in Empoleon. As Empoleon is going to kill with another Surf. But Skarmory does have speed and can go for the Roost. As Malone is going to predict the switch into Rotom. Not a bad prediction, since the Hoots have gone that every single time. Is going to go for the Defog. Get away those hazards, since Malone wants to switch. Packs the Colbur Berry on Ghost, or Gourgeist. Probably for that Scrafty, just to take on its knockoffs. So Empoleon is going to go for the Stealth Rock. Has to take a Volt Switch. Doesn't really care because Empoleon is very, very bulky on the especially defensive side. But Scrafty is going to take a Toxic. And can go for the HJK, but is kind of risky at this point just because Gourgeist is sitting right there. Is going to go for the Roar and roar it into Hydreigon, which is very, very good for Susie. Hydreigon is going to go for the substitute as Roar is going to come through. And is going to roar into Empoleon. So very, very good turn of events for the Hoots. But out comes Rotom Wash just to put some pressure on as Empoleon wants to get away all those hazards. And I think this is a really long match, because we're like 25 turns in and not a single mon has been killed. Oh my god. So Mega Bug, the Mega is going to come out, reveal the Life Orb and the U-turn. And goes into Skarmory and takes the Leech Seed. Skarmory doesn't really care, it just gets to set up rocks and be annoying. And Rotom Wash comes in. Cresselia. Obviously, it's just going to sit in front of Rotom Wash all day. If not for a Toxic, which Malone's going to try and predict the Toxic, but takes a Volt Switch instead. Yanmega gets to come out, and Malone is probably pretty okay with this because Empoleon basically walls Yanmega. And Empoleon is a very good mod because it doesn't have too many weaknesses. Like, it has Electric, Ground, and Fighting, and those can be those can literally be paired up with like a few typings. Like it pairs very well with ground types. It really does. And then like the Cresselia that Malone has is very useful as well. But Kyurem Black comes in, and Skarmory is very afraid of Kyurem Black. Kyurem Black does a lot of things, and it's actually a screen setter Kyurem Black. So way to bust out the versatility on Mons Malone. I really like it. Whipping out the screens Kyurem. But Rotom comes in. Oh my god, Cresselia, why'd you have to Moonlight? I thought we were actually gonna get a kill. But no. Hydro Pump is gonna come in and do 22%. And oh my lord, this is so much turns. And Mega comes in, Air Slash should do a ton. Now comes a Cure in Black because it's super bulky because it's got 125 HP. But oh my god, that does a lot. Knows it out speeds. Yeah, Mega's gonna pick up the first kill of the match. 42 turns in. I don't even think the other matches lasted 42 turns. Like, oh my god. So Rotom is going to go ahead and Volt Switch and kill the Empoleon. Thank you. We're finally picking up kills now. Alright. So, Rhyperior is going to have to immediately get out. Go into Hydreigon. And Skarmory is going to unfortunately miss the Toxic. The Hydreigon gets up a substitute. Goes for Dark Pulse. Does not two-shot this Rotom. Rotom is going to be flinched. So, Hydreigon has no reason not to Dark Pulse again. As Rotom is going to whip out the Signal Beam. I like it. Has it for the Crest and the Hydreigon. As he's going to go for the Signal Beam again and kill the Hydreigon. We're finally scooping kills. Oh, thank God. So Cresselia is going to go for the Moonblast and Rotom is going to go for the Volt Switch. This Rotom is living tall right now. So Yanmega comes out, goes for the Bug Buzz, does a considerable amount of damage to Cresselia. But is going to die to Ice Beam, but does wear down Cresselia to the point where basically anything gets to come in and revenge. Deoncé gets to come in and click Moonblast. Gourgeist has to come out because Rhyperior doesn't really want to take a hit. Gets crit, and that's pretty much game. Is going to go for the Rock Polish to Earthquake. I don't know why Skarmory didn't come out before. Could be at +9 differential right now. Skarmory's just going to come in and Toxic just to ensure victory under every circumstance. Just get over the Roost, and that's going to be the game. The Utah Hoots are going to win a 4-0 victory over the St. Louis Swablues. So, looking into the future in Week 3, we have next week the Denver Numos taking on the Florida Floatzels. Arcane Arcanines and the Phoenix Flygons, Nightmare Nidoking and the BC Bibberolls, the Keldeo Hub Resolutes and the Portland Timbers, the Contract Killers and the Royal Gardevoir, the Newfoundlandians and the Utah Hoots, the Inner Milotic and the St. Louis Swablues. Feel free to pause the video and look at them if you like, and feel free to check the description for all the replays of the battles that I just showed you. You guys can watch them at your own pace and just have the link for it. So, I hope you guys did enjoy this video of Week 2 ASL Season 3 Weekly Recap. And I hope you guys enjoy that we are uploading more content on this channel as of late. We've had some scheduling errors with a Pick'em crew. Malone's been having trouble with Wi-Fi lately. And trust me, we're doing everything that we can to get all the videos up that we promise. And it's just sometimes life gets in the way and natural causes like Wi-Fi going down or like just generally being busy like gets in the way. I'm sure you guys can understand. So if something isn't up like the minute or the day that it isn't supposed to be up, like sorry, like we're trying to get everything up as on time as we can, but some things are not going to be up on time. I'm just saying this, just you guys probably already know this. We're not perfect. We're pretty far from perfect. But yeah, just keep that in mind when watching or when expecting videos coming out from us. But again, we'll try our very, very hardest. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. This has been ASL Season 3 Weekly Recap Week 2 with your host, Hutch. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.